Joining me today via Skype is Tim Westergren. Tim is the founder of Pandora, and of course Pandora makes their popular iPhone application. Tim, thanks for joining me, and for people who maybe aren't familiar with what Pandora is, give them the quick summary in your words.
So it's a personalized radio service that allows people to create radio stations based on their favorite songs and artists. And it's based on something called the Music Genome Project, which is this enormous musical taxonomy, essentially this kind of massive collection of songs that we've analyzed using a team of trained musicians along hundreds of attributes per song to create kind of this musical connective tissue. So it's sort of easy, quick, personalized radio.
Now, for a while it looked like the end might be near for Pandora and other internet music services, actually most internet music services. There were some dark clouds, gloomy days in the fall of 2008. Then there was the Webcaster Settlement Act. That was passed and locked in the royalty rates, as you know. Can we relax now, or are internet music services still in danger?
Yeah, things are looking pretty good now. I'd say that both sides are now using the words optimistic and just kind of wrapping it up. But that certainly was not true for quite a while.
And now that that's been hammered out, what can you focus on that maybe was more difficult before when there was this sense of imminent doom hanging around?
Well, I think that the presence of that threat has a lot of negative impacts on the company. It's psychological, for one. Everybody in the company sort of goes through every day with this, this very dire threat to the company that's unresolved. And I think it's demoralizing, and it's for some people it's very scary and makes things feel very uncertain. And I think that just sort of at a sort of psychological level for every employee was hard. I think it also definitely impacted our sales effort because, when companies are looking to market with Pandora, they were worried, are you going to be around? And that's very hard to sell when you've got that uncertainty.
Switching gears, of course, your iPhone app has been quite popular. What did you think of the initial response to your iPhone application?
That's way beyond what we expected. We had no idea how fast it would go. It accounts for between almost 15% of our daily listening now. Mm-hmm. And I'm not sure that we had a specific number in terms of our own expectations, but it was a fraction of what happened. And I think more than just the raw numbers that it's driven in terms of new listeners, the impact for us that's most dramatic and surprising and exciting is really how it's changed the conversation around internet radio in the public. The whole story of internet radio has changed dramatically as a result of the iPhone. And
when you launched your iPhone app, there was still this uncertainty at that time about potentially, you might have to shut down Pandora with the looming increase in royalties. Did you ever feel like maybe the rapid adoption of the iPhone app was sending you towards a brick wall even faster?
Yeah, like our motto has been, if we hit the wall, we're going to hit it going 100 miles an hour. So never really an option for us to kind of somehow sort of put on the brakes, conserve, kind of batten down the hatches. It just doesn't work when you're growing like we are, So I think we've always had faith that rationality would prevail. We just didn't know how long it would take, and so we've not altered our strategy, because of the royalties. It's impacted us, but we haven't sort of made proactive decisions based on that.
Has there been a change in the attitude of the record labels since Pandora launched now versus late 2005?
Yeah, I think it has. I think there's been a general change on the part of record labels in terms of how they view digital services and the digital part of their business. I think they're becoming more open to it and recognizing that the strategies they've used in the past maybe aren't working, and they're getting more cooperative. So I think we've benefited from that. And I also think that over time, as in the course of this negotiation, where we've really talked directly with the labels. That they, as the more they've learned about Pandora, and not only about sort of what our service does and the impact that it has, but also how we think about our business and about music. I mean, I'm a musician myself. I spent 10 years in bands. I come from that world. I have a deep respect for musicians and copyright and all that. I think they've gotten more and more comfortable with us as a business, and that's helped.
Now, obviously, the iPhone, not the first portable device that Pandora, your service was available on. Do you see this? I mean, are there other platforms out there that you want to get on? Is this get it out there as much as you can? Things like Android, is that on the roadmap?
Yeah, I mean, generally speaking, we want to be on any device that gets any kind of mass consumer adoption that will allow for mobile Pandora. I mean, our vision for Pandora is to be radio in the broadest sense of the word. So, the more ways you can get it, the better. And the challenge for us to date has been finding sort of single phones or single platforms that have a huge audience. So we've been on Sprint and AT&T, but we've built 60 applications because of all the different phones, and they have new ones coming out every week. We're looking for more iPhone-like devices where you can build one app that has a great kind of software platform. So the development process, I mean, our CTO is like a walking billboard for the iPhone because the development was so effortless. And, with one app, we've got 2 million people using it now. And that just dwarfs anything we've had to date.
Of course, one of the current limitations of your application on the iPhone, and frankly it's a limitation for all iPhone applications, is the fact that a user can't listen to Pandora and go off and do other things on the phone. You can't keep any app running while you do something else. Is that something you think Apple might revisit? Or is it just a case of a situation that you as a developer, it just is what it is?
I suspect that Apple will start to make exceptions. But I know that the rationale behind that is if you start having multiple applications running simultaneously, you can start creating this huge drag on the network because you've got applications that are constantly searching for something or downloading something. And if you're doing that in the background, you don't even know what you're doing, and you're putting huge demands on the network. That's one problem. The second thing is battery life. So, if you got all this stuff going on, you're draining your battery. So I think that Apple's decision was really based with the user in mind, that I know the inconvenience is you can't do multiple things, but the truth is you get much better performance if you pick and choose.
Any future plans you wish to reveal this time?
Well, we don't ever pre-announce stuff, so okay. I can't tell you specific things, but the next 6 months are going to be full of really interesting new announcements and partnerships. I mean, we're trying right now to spread our tentacles as wide and as fast as we can, and lots of really interesting partnerships coming up.
Tim Westergren, founder of Pandora, thank you for joining us, and thank you for watching this TDL profile on thedigitallifestyle.tv.